In the quiet town of Willow Creek, nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains, there is a legend that sends shivers down my spine every time I hear it. This is the tale of the Vanishing Hitchhiker, a ghostly figure that appears on the side of the road, only to disappear without a trace. One stormy night, I was driving home from a party when I noticed a figure on the side of the road, drenched in the pouring rain. Their thumb was outstretched in a desperate plea for a ride. Despite the late hour and the dismal weather, I felt empathy for the hitchhiker who looked like she needed help. I stopped the car, rolled down the window, and offered the woman a ride. She was a mysterious figure with dark, seemingly bottomless eyes. Nodded gratefully, climbed into the back seat. She gave me an address on the outskirts of town, explaining that she needed to be dropped off there. As we drove, the atmosphere inside the car grew tense. The hitchhiker remained silent, her eyes fixed on some unseen point ahead. I tried to make conversation, but she seemed lost in her own thoughts and wouldn't utter any other words after previously telling me where to go. I didn't push having any more communication anyway because something felt off. When we arrived at the address, I turned to the back seat to tell the hitchhiker we had arrived, but to my horror, the back seat was empty. Confused, frightened, and anxious all at the same time, I hesitantly got out of the car and searched the immediate area, but there was no sign of the hitchhiker anywhere. I was shaken to my core, and on my drive home, my mind was racing with so many questions. I told my parents immediately what had happened, but they dismissed it as a trick of the light or that I wasn't paying attention to where the hitchhiker went when she got out of the car because it was a stormy night. I knew that wasn't the case, but because I wanted to calm down, I accepted my parents' theory for the time being. That night, I couldn't sleep. The events of the evening haunted my thoughts, and I tossed and turned, my mind replaying the eerie encounter over and over again. The next day, determined to make sense of what had happened, I decided to investigate the address the hitchhiker had given me. When I arrived at the address the next day, my heart skipped a beat as I got out of the car and walked in what seemed like slow motion to the front door. The house was old and decrepit, its windows boarded up and its doors hanging off their hinges. Undeterred, I approached the house. The mysterious hitchhiker's address was clutched tightly in my hand. Rain was pouring down, soaking me to the bone as I made my way to the front door, and to my surprise, it was slightly opened. As I walked around the house, each step seemed to echo in the stillness of the night, the only sound being the distant rumble of thunder. As I reached the doorknob of one of the rooms down a short, dark hallway, a chill ran down my spine, but I pushed it open, determined to uncover the dark truth. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the smell of decay. The floorboards creaked beneath my feet as I cautiously made my way through the darkened hallway, the only light coming from the occasional flash of lightning outside. With each creaking floorboard and flickering light, my apprehension grew, until finally I stumbled upon the gruesome truth hidden within the abandoned house. In a hidden room, I discovered the remains of the hitchhiker, her body a grim reminder of the tragic fate that had befallen her. It was then that I realized the truth. The hitchhiker was a ghost, stuck between worlds, and doomed to wander the roads of Willow Creek forever, searching for someone to help her solve the mystery of her death. From that day on, the legend of the Vanishing Hitchhiker was born. Locals would often see her on the side of the road, her ghostly form beckoning for a ride, only to disappear into the night. Though many tried to uncover the truth behind her death, none were successful. Many people, including visitors passing through, have encountered the hitchhiker and never said a word until I found the remains. It seems I'm actually the only one that went to the address and went inside. After the word got out about my experience that day, I sort of became an in-town celebrity. I'm now considered a ghost whisperer. Anyway, the mystery of the Vanishing Hitchhiker remained unsolved to this day.